All right, so today we are going to be going over volume of spheres. So a sphere, a real life example of a sphere would be a basketball, a volleyball. The earth is also an example of a sphere. So we're going over volume. So here we have the formula for volume of spheres, okay? So, volume is the space or the capacity that's inside of an object. So, before we've been going over surface area, but now we're going that which is around and outside. But now we're going over volume, which is the space and the capacity that's filled within the object. So, the formula for volume of a sphere is 4/3 times pi times radius cubed. So, in layman's terms, the volume of a sphere is 4/3 the product of pi and the radius to the third power. Okay. And just a hint to help you guys, multiplying by 4/3 is the same thing as multiplying by 4 and then dividing by 3. Okay. So let's take a look at our first example. It says use the volume formula to find the number of cubic centimeters of the sphere. Okay, so we know our formula is volume is equal to 4/3 times pi times radius cubed. So first we need to identify what our values are. Okay, so here in the sphere, I am given diameter. My diameter is 22. My formula calls for radius, so I need to figure out what my radius is. My radius is half of my diameter, so if my diameter is 22, my radius is 11. Now that I have that, I can go ahead and substitute my values in. So I have 4/3 times pi times radius, which is 11 cubed. So that's raised to the third power. Now we're going to go ahead and put that into our calculator. So I want to put this in fraction form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the math button, and one fraction, it gives me, so I click math, then I'm going to go all the way over to where it says fraction. You're going to see number one, it says n over d, so that's your numerator over denominator. So I click that. I'm going to put 4/3, so 4, and then I'm going to go down thirds. Then I'm going to make sure I'm out of the fraction. Then I'm going to multiply by pi, which is second, the caret. And then we're going to multiply by 11 cubed. So we're going to use the caret button and raise that to the third power. Okay. Then you press enter. And so you get 5,575.3 because we're going to round to the nearest tenth today. We're rounding to the nearest tenth, so you get 5,575.3. So 5,575.3. Now let's move on to our next example. This example says a volleyball has a radius of 10 inches. How many cubic inches of air are in the volleyball when it's fully inflated? So whenever you are looking for cubic inches, that indicates that you are looking for volume. Okay, so remember the formula for volume is equal to 4/3 times pi times our radius cubed, or our radius to our third power. So here we are given our radius, which is 10. So now I can just go ahead and substitute my values in. So now I have volume is equal to 4/3 times pi times 10 to the third power. Okay. If I needed to draw a picture so I can see it, I'm going to draw a circle. You can kind of draw your sphere like this, and then your radius would be 10. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and put that into our calculator. So remember, you click math, then you go all the way over to fraction. Okay, and so we put 4/3. You can go over, you multiply by pi, and then you multiply by 10 cubed. So 10 to the third power, and enter, and you get 4,188.79. And so when you round, that's 4,188.8. Fourth our volume, and that is going to be cubic inches. Let's see. Last but not least, you have your hemisphere. So a hemisphere is half of a sphere. Okay, so a hemisphere is 1/2 of a sphere. So whenever you're looking for the volume of a hemisphere, you're going to look for half of that. So you're going to have your formula. So volume of a hemisphere is 4/3 times pi times radius cubed. And then at the end, you're going to divide by 2. Okay, you want to divide by 2. So here we are given radius. Our radius is 12 millimeters. So I'm going to substitute my values in. You can do 4/3 times pi times 12 cubed. And then we're going to divide by 2 at the end. Okay, so when we put that into our calculator, we're just going to do like 2 steps. So you have 4/3 times pi times 12 cubed, so raised to the third power. And then after you get that answer, you're going to divide by 2. And so we get 3,619.11. So 3,619. So volume equals to 3,619.1 cubic millimeters. Now you're going to go ahead and complete the word wall assignment. Make sure you write out your formula and have your substitution correct.